It's another season of the Hurry Up Offense here on Football.com's Google Plus page. My name is Aaron Morse, joined, you might remember them, by Joe Coughlin and Joe Jenkins for episode 1 of the second season of the Hurry Up Offense. And we'll talk about week 1 in college football, all sorts of interesting things happening. The most interesting game for me was Florida State suffering a scare, the defending national champion suffering a scare against Oklahoma State, an unranked team. How concerned should Seminoles fans be? Joe Jenkins, let's start with you.
A little bit, yeah. There should be some concern there. I think, and we saw it last year with this Florida State team too, where they kind of lollygagged through the first half of games, and then they would just turn it on in the second half. You know, we saw them kind of do it in the ACC championship. I don't want to say they did it in the BCS championship, but the formula stayed the same, where they fell behind in the first half, came back in the second. I mean, at the end of the day, I don't think they should be too concerned. They're still the most talented team in the country, but they do need to be careful if they keep playing this kind of entitled brand of football where they know they're the most talented team and they can just turn it on whenever they want, because it doesn't always work that way.
Yeah, they're not the Miami Heat, right? You know, it's not, they can't just wait till a national title game to play their best football. What are your thoughts, Joe Coughlin? Hurry up.
Yeah, I think they should be concerned for a few different reasons. This isn't the same team as a year ago, and even if it was, these teams around the country have a lot of film on Jameis Winston now. They're going to be ready for him. They know what to do. It's kind of the second year of a superstar. They know what to do the second time through the league. So I think there's legitimate concern there, and I don't know if they can run the table again. They might have to hope one loss can do it.
And then in terms of week 1, which team maybe out there, guys, was the most impressive team to you in their week 1 performance? Joe Coughlin, hurry up.
I really liked what LSU did, and maybe it was because of that second half, fourth quarter flourish, left a really good my brain of what they can do, but that is just quality football at a very intense moment against a very good team in Wisconsin. I like their running game, and their defense really stepped up when they needed to against a pretty powerful offense. I think LSU is, they're what we expect, and maybe it's their year.
Yeah, not to take away from LSU. My personal opinion on that is Wisconsin kind of blew it, to be quite honest. I mean, Melvin Gordon did get hurt a little bit, was a little bit banged up, we learned, and then McAvoy just really struggled in his first collegiate start at quarterback. But Joe Jenkins, who was the most impressive? Hurry up.
I'm gonna stick in the SEC as well. I was really impressed with the way Georgia took care of business against Clemson. I was curious to see how this team was going to look in kind of, year 1 after Aaron Murray, so to speak. And the way they look is that they don't care about their quarterback. The guy only completed 18 passes, and Todd Gurley's just a man-child. To use the SEC cliche, that kid plays big boy football. And you watched in that game as Georgia just slowly ground Clemson's defense and just broke their will over the course of that second, third quarter, and they just pulled away. It was pretty impressive to watch.
It really was, and I have Georgia as one of my top 4 teams, I think, in the country right now. They were very impressive. I was also impressed by Texas A&M myself. I mean, my goodness, Kenny Hill, wow, I thought he'd be the starter, but I didn't think that would happen. But in terms of teams who let you down, and maybe South Carolina is one of those teams, who was the biggest letdown of week 1? Joe Jenkins, hurry up.
Yeah, I'm going to go out to California and jump on the hate wagon here for UCLA for a little bit. I know it's tough to go from the West Coast to the East Coast to play an early game, but we were talking about this team potentially being a playoff contender, and if you can't go into UVA and beat Virginia soundly, then you've got a problem. There's a lot of problems with that offensive line in that game. Hundley got sacked 5 times. He was under duress a lot more. They only won by 8 points against Virginia. I mean, I think they can pull it together, but that should be an eye-opener for that team.
It was a tough game, but again, West Coast teams going east and vice versa, that can be a little bit difficult at times. We'll see how the Bruins do going down the stretch. Joe Coughlin, most underwhelming team of week 1 for you, sir. Hurry up.
South Carolina, like you just talked about, I mean, giving up 680 yards at home where they had won 18 straight ball games. I mean, it just was a dismantling, and this was a team that was talked about returning. This could be a big team, Jadeveon Clowney, whatever. We still have 7 starters returning. Didn't look that way. It was a really hard to watch football game if you were a South Carolina fan.
Yeah, it really was a tough game for the Gamecocks, and all those articles about the old ball coach, I think, might have been a little bit premature about him having a big-time contender. So we'll see. Let's go to week 2 now. I want bold predictions from both of you, and these need to be bold, but they also need to be accurate because we're going to keep track of these. Joe Coughlin, your bold prediction.
Another team I was pretty underwhelmed by was Ohio State. They just don't look like they have it figured out just yet, and I think they will get it figured out as the season goes along, so they're probably most vulnerable this week. Virginia, decent ball club. I think they could do a young team. Maybe don't know about it. They could take advantage.
Wow, the Hokies going to go into the horseshoe and maybe pull off the upset according to Joe Coughlin. We'll see if that happens. Joe Jenkins, your bold prediction.
Yeah, man, I like Michigan State going out to Eugene and beating Oregon. We've seen this Oregon team get punched in the mouth by physical defenses a couple times the last couple of years, and they don't react well to it. I mean, we saw it in the games they played against Stanford the last 2 years, where they just got out physical by a big manly defense, and Sparty kind of runs that same formula. So I think they're going to go out there and pull off a close one.
I would agree with that. I think Michigan State is a legitimate national title contender this season. I do think they will beat Oregon. All right, well, Joe Jenkins, Joe Coughlin, thanks so much for joining us here on the Hurry Up Offense. We'll catch you next week for Football.com. I'm Aaron Morse.